Black Goose TV family, what's good with it? Nothing but love, man. I want to say right now, happy Thursday. Appreciate y'all. I want to say this also, man. Hopefully, y'all, Thursday is going a lot better than mine, man. This Thursday for me was a little rough. Not the greatest day at work, not the greatest workout. I did it all. I got it in. I made sure I took care of business. I'm back at the crib, you know what I'm saying, talking the good boxing news with y'all, but I'm just going to be 100 with you. I'm not going to cap, man. Today wasn't the greatest day. I feel like the last 2 days, the energy was crazy high. And, this is how it goes. It's just how it goes, man. You can have, a couple of days where they're amazing, have a day where it's not that amazing. It's part of the spectrum. It's part of the life that we live. It's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure it out, learn it, just rock with it. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Anyone who's going to be tuning into this joint, it means the world to me, man. And if you're not part of the Black Goose family, man, be part of the Black Goose family, man. Because, when it comes to this motherfucking channel, man, we all about love. We all about, what I'm saying, go ahead, tell me what your opinion is. Put out there what you think. Let's go back and forth, man. No bias. And if there is bias, I'm going to let y'all know. But either way, I appreciate y'all. That's what I'm just basically trying to say. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and get to the story. We got Errol Spence news. Errol Spence. Y'all know I've been talking heavy about Errol Spence, and it only makes sense, obviously, because I've said this numerous times. Errol Spence just got done having to fight with Ugas. He's been talking a lot more about Terence Crawford. So it only makes sense that we continue to talk about Errol Spence at least until we figure out what's going on with this Terence Crawford Bob Arum top rank lawsuit, and we figure out whether or not, Terence Crawford is going to end up signing with like a PBC of the world, Floyd Mayweather of the world, Golden Boy Promotions of the world, or if he's going to do like a co-promotional thing. So I think it's only necessary we continue to talk. I think it's a smart move from Errol Spence's team to continue to talk about it and kind of put it out there because, like I said, for the longest, it seemed like it was Terence Crawford who was the one who was chasing Errol Spence. Now, the tables have turned a little bit, and Errol Spence is now chasing Terence Crawford. Y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can talk y'all shit, but that's just what's going on right now because let's be 100. Terence Crawford is in the A side right now. And a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, you don't know business. How is he in the A side when he's not even signing no one? He's in a lawsuit. What I mean by being in the A side is that he's in a position right now where no one controls his entity. He controls himself. So with that being said, you cannot, if you're a real boxing fan, right, whether you like Errol Spence more, whether you like Terence Crawford more, whether you hate both of them, you have to acknowledge the pure fact that there's nothing keeping this fight from happening. See what I'm saying? There is nothing keeping this fight from happening except negotiation and split and broadcasting rights. And even broadcasting rights is kind of out of there now because Terence Crawford isn't signed with a major promotional company right now. So you got to understand, when Terence Crawford was talking all this shit when he was with top rank with Bob Arum, all these different things, people were saying, oh, put your money where your mouth is. You're just saying all that, but it can't happen. While Errol Spence on the other side, he wasn't as, vocal about the particular fight because he knew that at the end of the day, or this is me saying this allegedly speculation that PBC, they're like, hey, we're going to make this happen. If we're going to do a co-promotional deal when it comes to, broadcasting, etc., I need Errol to get this much. And I'm pretty sure it was more of a split than what Terence Crawford would get, which makes no sense. At the very least, it should be a 50-50 or a 65-45 type thing, right? Or what would that be? Because I'm like, we're talking about 50-50, 55-45, 60, 40, 65, 35 type thing. You know what I'm saying? Something close in the range of where everybody's getting paid and compensated for their worth, right? But that wasn't the case. They were trying to say, we want this type of split. We want broadcasting rights, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing wrong with that. I understand it's all part of negotiation. But with that being said, there was a reason why Errol Spence wasn't as vocal about the Terence Crawford fight until now. Because we had, like once again, there's nothing keeping this fight from happening. We're not in the days of last year. We're not in the days of 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where we're like, well, I know we're seeing Terence Crawford call out Earl, and I know we see Errol Spence saying he doesn't mind the fight. I know we're saying Bob Arum. I know we're seeing Bob Arum saying, hey, yeah, I would love to make the fight. I know we're seeing, PBC say we can make the fight, et cetera, et cetera. But we all knew it was kind of far-fetched because we said you guys are going to have to somehow figure out what the split is and the broadcasting rights. Now, in 2022, obviously, Errol Spence, you have to, for the marketing purposes, for your team purposes, for future revenue. If you're not gung-ho for the Terence Crawford fight, I dropped a question in the community board about like what fight you want to see next. Errol Spence versus Keith, Errol Spence for Terence. Everybody wanted to see Terence. So we all know how much we want to see Spence for Terence. Everyone's talking about it. There's no reason for Spence not to talk about Terence Crawford and wanting to fight now because it can happen. It can happen more than ever because Terence Crawford doesn't have an entity reigning over him saying, this is this, I want this broadcast. Like literally it just comes down to Terence Crawford wants to be paid a certain amount. Let me get paid a certain amount. I don't give a fuck about where it's going to be broadcast and nothing because at the end of the day, I'm still going to get pay-per-view points, right? the broadcasting rights come down to the promoter, because the promoter wants to make a certain amount of money off of the pay-per-view. So if I'm giving the broadcasting rights, I'm Top Rank, I'm giving the broadcasting rights to the Zone, I'm giving the broadcasting rights to PBC, I'm not making no revenue off of the pay-per-view. See what I'm saying? I'm just making revenue off of all the residuals. I'm making revenue off of, the attendance, all the other stuff, or whatever you negotiated. But you have to understand, pay-per-view revenue is a very big part of, money being made in boxing. And we all know that. It's in fight combat sports, period. Pay-per-views are the playoffs of fight combat. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I understand why Errol Spence is being more vocal. I've said this a million times on videos. I dropped a video yesterday about it. I dropped a video the other day about it. Like, this is not new news, but I'm trying to give an insight to you guys that's a little bit different, so you guys understand. You guys might not agree with me, disagree with me. I'm not saying anyone's scared of anybody. I'm not saying anyone's not trying to fight anybody. I'm not saying, oh, now he's vocal because he beat Ugas. That's not what I'm saying. It's all a business move. Spence is confident in himself. You don't get to the point where you're at in Spence's career and all of a sudden you're scared to fight someone. That doesn't happen. They feel like these guys feel like they can beat absolutely anyone at any given time. So there's no lack of confidence of what I'm going to do. But they also understand the business side because, hey, I'm actually in this thing. So if I'm sitting here like this, let's take it outside the boxing world. If I'm sitting here and I'm telling you about my gripes and my upsetness and all the problems I have with the job I work, you can agree with me, right? Why would you agree with me? There's an emotional attachment. Y'all know who I am. Y'all like, this is Fluence. This is Black Goose family. If he's upset with something, man, they not treating my dog right. Make sure you get that nigga right? 3 sides to every story. See what I'm saying? I might be telling you my personal feelings about the situation, but I'm not telling you about the business aspect. Well, now the business aspect comes and says, hey, I know he's a great performer. I know he does his thing. I would love to pay him this money, but at the end of the day, we're going to lose money because of X, Y, and Z, right? Now you have the other side of the story. So it's the same type of, it's the same type of, it's the same type of situation to an extent. I'm not saying it's exactly similar. I'm not saying it's exactly on the same level, but you guys have to understand that Earl knows the business he's in. And the fact that he's being so vocal now, it only confirms further what I'm saying is that he can be this vocal and he can say these things because he knows that if he doesn't say these things, we're going to be side-eyeing him, because we understand that the Terence Crawford and Errol Spence fight actually happening is very, very, very realistic. It's a lot more plausible than it was before, simply because Terence Crawford not being with Top Rank. So if I'm asking you about, hey, if you're going to fight this guy and he's available and you tell me we'll see what happens, or I'm not even going to talk about that, we're going to be like, you ducking. But if you are calling him out, talking that shit, guess what? He already has a big fan base. You guys already, what I'm saying? Y'all fanboys. I get it. I understand it. I'm a fanboy to my extent to, certain fighters. So I'm not going to get mad at y'all. But it's going to make people quickly forget the last 3 to 4 years when Earl Spence never even wanted to say Terence Crawford's name. That's a fact. And that's not me saying he's scared. That's him knowing the business. That's him knowing who he's promotionally, contractually binded to. I'm like, and these niggas, PBC and Al Helman ain't never gonna let me fight Terrence unless the money makes sense. And the money that has to make sense for me to fight him is gonna slight Terrence. And Terrence is too goddamn great to be willing to move forward with such a great with such a crazy slight. Now, maybe if he was Devin Haney's age, let's risk it all. My man is going, you know what I'm saying? So y'all just gotta understand the business aspects of things. You know what I'm saying? Shit just works a little bit differently when you kind of look at the nitty gritty and you take out the emotional aspect or the fanboyism. But with that being said, damn, I didn't even read this article. I was just talking shit. So I appreciate anybody who's been watching this. Let's go ahead and read this article. I'm not going crazy into it. I'm not going to make this too long-winded. I just want to see what he says. Errol Spence guarantees Terence Crawford fight happens this year. How can you guarantee that? And you don't even know who he's going to be with. But let's see what he has to say. I know he didn't say too much. This comes from Errol Spence. This is the Dan Raphael's Fight Freaks Unite podcast. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, because it would have made me more assertive if they had called that a knockdown, and his loss would have happened a lot sooner. So he's probably talking about when he got hurt by Ugas. And that says, when asked that would have happened if Yordanis Ugas had dropped him in 6 steroids. I think it's a guarantee to happen, says Spence, about a fight between him and Terence Crawford to happen this year. We talked about it before. I even fought Ugas, so it definitely is in the works, and I think it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen this year. I think so. Crawford clash happens. It's now or never. I don't see any other fight that's more appealing than this one for me and for him. There's no other fight. There's no relationship with Crawford. We talked before, but there's no relationship. I feel like it's going to get made. There's no need for me to talk to Crawford on the phone. I feel like it's going to get made regardless. I already told them I want it, so it's going to get done. It's a fight that's in demand with sports people, casual fans. It's a fight that's one everyone wants to see. So I feel it's a fight that's definitely in demand and one where both camps are definitely satisfied. So we got a firm statement from Earl Spence saying that he basically, if you want to be 100, what I interpreted from it, long story short, is he understands like everything that he's been through. He's already been talking about like, look, I don't plan to be in this sport forever. Terence Crawford has done the same thing. He hasn't been through as much as Errol Spence. I'm talking about outside the ring, but he's already said, like, look, I'm 33, 35, whatever the case may be. I'm only gonna be in this ring for 3 or 4 more years. I'm at the end. I'm at the end of the race. I'm in the last leg of the race right now. So Spence understands you at this point. I need to get the biggest fights. The biggest fight out there right now is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford understands. See this, but the difference between Earl and Terence is this. I truly believe Terence doesn't believe he needs a big fight. I truly believe Terence would be okay with, if I don't get the Earl Spence fight, it is what it is. I was, undisputed at 140, 135, and then 147. I won a belt, and you guys didn't expect it. Y'all said I was too small. I actually want to be tripping too much because my legacy is kind of already cemented. Errol Spence, he's kind of saying the same rhetoric. Like, hey, I would love to fight Terence Crawford, but we've talked about the greats, and some of the greats we talked about have never been undisputed. So both of these fighters understand that dynamic, but at the same time, there is going to be a lot of pressure for this fight to be made. So as much as I want to say, hey, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford is going to happen before the end of the year, it's going to be a take. It's going to be a take. Y'all clip this right here. I don't think we're ever going to see Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Not because one person ducks the other person, but the timing has just always been off. So I think y'all let me know if y'all agree with me or disagree with me. This was a longer video than usual. I try not to be longer than 10 minutes. I'm sorry about the 12-minute video, but hopefully you guys enjoy. I got some energy to me. So hopefully it was something that y'all was able to rock with. Drop it in the comments below if you ain't fuck with it. Drop it in the comments below if you fuck with it. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. As always, we bringing you the best news and we bring you the best motherfucking opinion. And y'all gotta understand, man, when it comes to this motherfucking brain and the knowledge, when it comes to this thing, you ain't gonna hear this shit anywhere else.